Rise with India podcast on ET Now.
Good morning and thanks for listening in. This is the Daily Morning Update from ET Now and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 20th of August. Happy Friday to you. In the top news, there seems to be growing consensus among Fed officials in the US that a reduction in bond buying should happen sooner rather than later. According to the minutes of the last meeting of the Federal Reserve, most officials judged that it would be appropriate to start reducing the pace of asset purchases this year. Several others have reportedly said it would be appropriate to start the taper early next year. But while the recent surge in consumer prices in the US has grabbed policymakers' attention and prompted wide agreement on pulling back on asset purchases, several meeting participants were still worried that inflation could slump back to the pre-pandemic trend of running below 2%. India reported a rise in new COVID-19 infections and deaths for the second day in a row. Nearly 36,400 people tested positive for the coronavirus in the 24 hours to 8 a.m. yesterday, taking the total tally to 3.23 crore, according to the Health Ministry's latest update. Three top Canadian pension funds, including CDPQ and leading local insurers such as Life Insurance Corporation of India and HDFC Life, are among the frontline investors likely to buy into the Infrastructure Investment Trust of the National Highways Authority of India. The InvIT, seeking to gather up about 5,100 crore rupees in its first round, is expected to begin subscriptions later next month. That's according to a report by the Economic Times. Together, the Canadian funds are likely to buy about half of the InvIT's corpus on offer. In regulatory news, the Reserve Bank of India is said to be against acceding to a demand by India's payment gateways for exemptions on select new regulatory norms that are set to prohibit merchants from storing card details and payment operators from offering one-click checkout services to consumers from the start of 2022. Under the new norms, several cardholders, both debit and credit, that are making payments online in 2022 may have to enter their 16-digit card numbers every time that they make payments online, as opposed to just authenticating these transactions through their CVV and the one-time password, as is the current norm. In international news, the Taliban called on Afghanistan's imams to urge unity when they hold their first Friday prayers since the Islamist group seized control of the country, as protests against the takeover spread to more cities yesterday, and they included the capital city, Kabul. Several people were killed when Taliban militants fired on a crowd in the eastern city of Asadabad, according to witnesses. Another witness reported gunshots near a rally in Kabul, but they appeared to be Taliban firing into the air, according to a report by a news agency. And with that, it's over to Rohit Singh for the trade setup for the day in India. Morning, Rohit. How are we looking to end the week?
Good morning, Alex. Expect a volatile reaction on Dalal Street as the US Fed steps closer to withdrawing the stimulus. Nifty had fizzled out on Wednesday after testing the high of 16,700. Sellers ensured the index ended in the red, snapping its 7-day winning streak. Now, SGX is hinting at a gap down as latest Fed minutes reveal consensus at withdrawing liquidity support this year. The minutes reveal that many Fed officials have backed pulling back asset purchases and triggering a potential rate hike if the economy strengthens further. Dow, S&P had a mixed close after posting their worst fall in a month on Thursday. Europe and Asian markets too have reacted sharply to Fed's minutes, with EM stocks hitting their 2021 lows. The dollar index has strengthened to this year's highest, and oil fell to its lowest in about 3 months. Some experts are hinting that the Fed could announce its taper plan as early as next month. Fed's annual symposium at Jackson Hole assumes significance in this light. Emerging markets such as India could be at a loss if foreign investors withdraw money and reinvest in US treasuries. FIIs were net sellers of shares worth about 600 crore rupees, while DIIs sold shares worth about 730 crore rupees. Let's tell you about the active stocks this morning. Aarti Industries has approved a demerger, carving out Aarti Pharma Labs to house the pharma business along with specialty chemicals. In a surprising development, Nitin Chugh has resigned as the MD and CEO for Jeevan Small Finance Bank. Carlyle has emerged as the frontrunner to acquire Hexaware from its PE owner Baring Private Equity Asia. TCS is expanding its strategic partnership with Google Cloud with the launch of Google Garages for enterprise customers. HDFC Bank MD has said that it is confident of capturing lost ground on credit cards and reinforcing its pole position in that market. Indostar has announced an offer for sale of 5% share capital at a price that is 14% lower compared to last traded price. Ultratech Cement plans to invest close to 6,500 crore rupees to increase capacities by almost 20 million tons, according to Chairman Kumar Manganam Birla. The cabinet has approved a 11,000 crore rupee national scheme for edible oils, which could impact the importers of palm oil into India. Shares of Cartrade will list on the exchanges this morning. To recap, markets have been keen to buy any major correction. It remains to be seen how investors will react if the pullback is deeper today because of Fed's minutes. That's all from my end. Thank you for listening in. It's back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Rohit. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great end to the week and an even better weekend.
The Rise with India podcast on ET Now.